I call this the June 18th, 2024 meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Lincoln County to order. Our invocation tonight will be given by Mr. Frank Sullivan. Frank is the director of Hopetown Ministries. They have a location now in Lincoln County at Petersburg, and they've been in the Lewisburg, Marshall County area for quite a time. And we sure appreciate what you're doing. And so Frank will be giving our invocation. Our pledge tonight will be given by the Nix twins, Abby Claire and Jake Nix. They're upcoming juniors at Lincoln County High School. They're currently ranked 18th and 20th in their class. Both enjoy reading and playing with their dogs, and they're looking forward to getting their driver's license. They're the children of Amy and Brandon McKee and Jason and Sonny Nix, and the grandchildren of one of our former county commissioners, Gary Nix, and his wife, Jane. So if y'all would come up and y'all please stand for our invocation, remain standing for our pledge.
Please pray with me. Great God, our Father, we are privileged to be in your presence as we always are at this important function. Father, you have taught us in your word that governments are ordained by you. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the men and women of this county commission and the dedication that they give to the work that they do, and for the great blessing that they are to the people of Lincoln County. And I pray that you will guide them not only tonight, but always. Father, use your Spirit to enable them to do their work with integrity, with dependability, and respectability always. It is a great privilege, Father, to serve you and to live in a land where we are blessed with a government of, by, and for the people, and for this local government, which also is of, by, and for the people. I give you thanks and praise now in the strong name of Jesus. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Abby Claire and Jake. At this time, Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll.
Brandon Coley. Here. David Sanders. Danny Walker. Here. Ben Brown. Bonnie Caldwell. Here. Terry Lynn Rogers. Here. Jack Atchley.
Here.
Kate Ewan. Here. Mark Mitchell.
Here.
Randy Bradford. Marianne Tackett.
Present.
Steve Spray.
Here.
Daniel Eldridge.
Here.
Jason Nix.
Here.
Anthony Taylor.
Here.
Doug Cunningham.
Here.
Pat Haynes.
Here.
Tori Young.
Here.
Ricky Bryant.
Here.
Glenn Douglas.
Here.
Steve Guntherberg. Troy Frazran. Jason Hambrick. Jenny Rolls Walter.
Present.
I have 19 commissioners present, 5 absent.
Okay. Under announcements, the Planning Commission, you should have gotten a notice, but this is a reminder. Planning Commission work session meeting will be Saturday, June 29th from 8 to 12 at the EMA office, 1615 Wilson Parkway. So that's coming up, and encourage all of you to be there. Today I did receive Commissioner Randy Bradford's resignation with his doctor's report. He is capable of making a decision. He made that decision today to resign, and I would entertain a motion that we accept that resignation.
I make a motion.
Okay, Marianne Tackett makes a motion. Do I have a second? Steve Spray makes a second. All in favor of accepting the resignation, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously passed. With that, 12 will be a majority because we only have 23 commissioners. We do have 120 days to fill that. The legislative body is required to fill that position within 120 days. So it probably means the things that county clerk has to get out and advertisement on it, we'll probably fill that in the August meeting for us to get all the things done. Then it will be on the November general election ballot for filling still what would be not quite 2 years in that term on that. Any questions on that? As far as requirements, anybody that wants to nominate themselves or nominated from this floor would just need to be a registered voter in that district. Any questions? Okay. There were no public comments tonight. And our next item, I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of our May 28th, 2024 meeting. Terry Lynn. Commissioner Rogers makes a motion. Do I have a second? Commissioner Nix seconds. All in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. You should have received 7 monthly committee meeting minutes in your packet. I would entertain a motion acknowledging that you received those. Commissioner Rose-Walter makes a motion. Do I have Commissioner Mitchell seconds that? Any questions on that? All in favor acknowledging receipt of those, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Our next item, Dr. Bill Heath, Director of Schools, Highland Rim School Building Update.
Couple of visual aids here, Mayor. All right. All right, thank you. And I think 2 months ago I wasn't able to be here, so it's been about 3 or 4 months since I've been able to give you an update on things at Highland Rim. So I brought this rendering to be able to point out a few things to you as I talk about this. This is
I tell you what, if you want to bring it up here, I don't mind holding it right here while you.
That'd be
I
great.
think everybody can see it from.
All right.
It'll help they can't see me.
You got it there, Mayor? Okay, so.
Is that high? Does it?
Well, Mr. Bryan, you may have to
Mark
point then.
Mitchell likes
How's
it.
that? All right, first of all, Section A, which is right there. Section A, the block is all, it's laid. If you haven't been out there in a while, I mean, the walls are pretty high. You can see it's really taking shape there. In Section B, which is on that other side there, they're currently laying the block, and it's really starting to take shape. I went out there this morning for a little while, and it's going pretty quickly. It really is. And then in Section C, which is the back, including the gymnasium, right? In Section C, the footing is in place, and it's all starting to take shape. One thing is, I was asked recently about where's the roundabout. I guess that's what's making the talking circles. The roundabout is just off this side over here. Yeah, you got it, don't you?
Tell me what.
Right there. Yeah, the roundabout's right there, and that's going to help traffic flow quite a bit once everyone gets used to a roundabout, since we don't have one around here right now. So I wanted to give you a visual on what you see. If you've been by there, you may see a lot of block that's going up, and you still maybe can't quite visualize where's the front of that building, where's the back of it. The front right there is facing the old Huntsville Highway. But there's a tree line and stuff between there, so you really, I don't know if you can see it from the old Huntsville Highway, but as you turn in on the back entrance, you get to the roundabout, and then you'll turn onto the campus, to that part of the campus right there. So all the plumbing is underground and complete.
The sewer from that building to the lift station is complete, right? Okay. And then everything is still on time for the fall of '25. So that. Haven't experienced being able to say that a lot over the years as a superintendent in construction projects, that everything is still on time, but it is right now, so knock on wood. Any questions on that building before I address a question I had on the older building? Okay, on the older building, the one that's there now, basically nothing has changed from what we said all through this process and that is that renovations will occur. The architects and all, they know to meet with us right after school starts to begin having that discussion, because 12 months from that point in time, we want to be able to start renovating in the older building. Renovations in the older building will have to stay under budget. We've got a budget for that. That budget includes money from the bonds from this whole project. It also includes money from our 177 Capital Projects Fund. And in a preliminary discussion that we had with the architects, he knows that that's going to be the case going forward, the finance piece, and he knows the timeline piece. Because we know that as renovations are occurring in the old building, which is, again, about 15 months from now type thing, as those renovations are occurring, that there will be some kids that will be moved out of that building into this new building until the renovations are done before we actually are able to do a separation. So, it's still a whole, it's still a couple of years in the making, but that's the timeline. Any questions on that? All right.
Next.
You want
I believe I can handle this with Vanna.
Okay. Well, I might just want to stand up here and look at this as I'm
Okay.
talking to you. This is from the, oh, by the way, I was asked about some things about budget, so I thought I'd go ahead and reintroduce this to you. If you were at I forget which meeting it was, but I presented this data at the budget committee meeting. So if you guys who were at that meeting or on that budget committee, you've probably seen most of this before. I did sort of summarize it and make it on just 2 pieces of paper here. I think I gave you a slide presentation that night. From the Tennessee State District Report Card, I showed that our per pupil expenditures average in Lincoln County Schools was $9,635 per child, and the state average was $11,133. So we are about $1,500 per child lower than the state average. I think at that same time I may have mentioned that our test results for ever since 2016 we've been #1 in our region. So it's easy to say dollars don't always equal great results because we're $1,500 a child under the average in our region, but we've got the highest scores and have had them since 2016 in our region. So that was one, and then this one was an interesting one I wanted to make sure everybody saw too. Is where does our revenue come from? It comes from 3 sources. It comes from local dollars, state dollars, and federal dollars. And of course that adds up to be 100% of the revenue. But if you look from the Tennessee Report Card, it breaks it out for us, and 53.7% of our revenue comes from the state, 25.5% from local, and 20.8% from the federal. And this is the most recent data that's on that report card. I think it's a year old. But that'll give you an idea of where the dollars come from. Now, these state dollars, and these federal dollars, they all funnel through our finance departments, okay? So when you look at your budget for the county budget and you see how many dollars are going to the school system, and you look at the total dollars for the county, you might say, well, that looks like 70%. It's not. It's just coming through the county. I mean, most of it is coming from the state. All right. Now, take that one step further, and I broke down the actual revenue from our budget going forward, so you can see of all the dollars that are budgeted And these are estimates, I'm not estimates, these are approximations. But the TISA state portion, TISA is our funding model, the state dollars is about 63% going forward of all the dollars you'll see in our budget. It's coming from the state. Federal funds is right at 15%. Local dollars are everything else down through here, and that's 78. So that would be, the rest of it in this budget is about 22% total. Now you want to see of that 22%, the local option sales tax accounts for 10.4% of that, 10.42. The local property tax counts for 8.74%. So, you know, each of those are somewhere around that $4 million range. And a reminder, that $4 million, if it comes to us, we have to take 22% of that and send it to Fayetteville City. Keep that in mind, please. So then there are some other smaller funds that go into our budget. You can see down here, but they're all very, very small. Some other state funds that make up 2%, and then all these other ones are less than, 0.3%. Questions on all of that? Because I want to make sure I was clear on that, because I have had questions in the past about how big the school system's budget is in comparison to the whole county's budget, and how it looks when you just look at the county budget. It looks like it's 70% or whatever the person that asked me the question said, but it's not, because most of that is coming from other sources. Questions? All right. Anything else?
You need,
I need those back, yeah. I'll get them.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Our next one is we get into some of the committee appointments, and these all relate back to the positions that Commissioner Bradford held. Our first one is consideration for approval to appoint one commissioner to the Adult-Oriented Establishment Control Board. As you may remember, last month, Bonnie Caldwell was appointed to, was that the Audit Committee or Personnel Committee, and that put her one over on the maximum of 4 standing committees. So she has resigned from that. So we need to appoint someone to fill that one. And let me just go over, here are the commissioners that are eligible that are only on 3 committees. And if you think I'm wrong, correct me on this, but Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Atchley, Commissioner Mitchell, Commissioner Tackett, Commissioner Eldridge, Commissioner Nix, Commissioner Young, Commissioner Bryant, Commissioner Douglas, Commissioner Gunthenberg, and Commissioner Hambrick. Any of those would be eligible, and we're going to be filling 1, 2, 3 positions, 3 committee, and we did have Commissioner Hambrick on the next one that I'll bring up. He was the only one that our office received that they would serve on that, and that was the Audit Committee. So we've got the adult-oriented, a position on the Audit Committee, and a position on the Ethics Committee. So the first one that we got is the adult-oriented, and the floor is now open for nominations for that position. We don't have to fill if y'all don't want to.
I nominate Commissioner Robinson.
Commissioner Rogers, okay, Commissioner Rogers has been nominated.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Any other nominations? I'd entertain a motion that Commissioner Rogers be elected by acclamation if y'all see fit.
I make that motion.
Okay, Commissioner Taylor makes a motion. I have a second to motion for Commissioner Ewan seconds. All in favor of electing Commissioner Rogers to that position by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Congratulations, unanimously elected. The next one is the consideration for approval to appoint, we've got in this, Jason Hambrick to the Audit Committee to replace Randy Bradford. That term would expire November 2025. Now, no one else expressed an interest in it, but other nominations can come from the floor if y'all see fit on that. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion that he be elected by acclamation. Commissioner Nix makes that motion. Commissioner Spray seconds. All in favor of electing Commissioner Hambrick to the Audit Committee by acclamation, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Our third and last one is consideration for approval to appoint one commissioner to the Lincoln County Ethics Committee to replace Commissioner Bradford on that. That term would expire September 2024.
Make a motion, Mark Mitchell.
Commissioner Spray makes a motion. Mark Mitchell. Okay. Commissioner Atchley has been nominated. Mitchell and Atchley. Any other? It only takes 12 to elect one of y'all, so, you know, it's a good night. If no other, I'd entertain a motion that nomination cease. Have a second to nomination ceasing. All in favor of nomination ceasing, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Okay. Have a roll call. When we do, answer by Mitchell or Atchley.
Commissioner Coley? Sanders? Walker? Caldwell?
Ashley.
Rogers?
Mitchell.
Atchley?
Mitchell.
Gewen?
Mitchell.
Mr. Jack Ashley.
Tackett. Ashley. Spray.
Eldridge?
Ashley.
Nix?
Ashley.
Taylor?
Ashley.
Cunningham?
Ashley.
Haynes?
Ashley.
Young?
Ashley.
Bryant?
Ashley.
Douglas?
Ashley.
Rolls Walter?
Commissioner Cunningham, I'm having flashbacks to earlier times when it looks like it's going one way, people jumping on a wagon. Poor Jack Atchley.
I have 5 for Commissioner Mitchell, 14 for Commissioner Atchley, and 5 absent.
Congratulations, Commissioner Atchley. All right, our next item,
Watching you, Mark.
consideration for appoint Brooke Grubb to the Ad Hoc Opioid Fund Committee. Daniel Eldridge had a little more on his plate and he was able to do justice on this. So he resigned from that and would consider Brooke Grubb to fill that position if the commission sees fit.
So moved.
Commissioner Eldridge makes a motion. Commissioner Young seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor of appointing Mr. Grubb to that position, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. The next item on your agenda, we're moving to the July. That was the interlocal agreement with Petersburg, and Petersburg's meeting on that tonight. So that will come back before the commission at the July meeting. Our next item, consideration for approval on the resolution regarding the Kroger settlement on the opioid funds. The reason we had to kind of speed this up was on these opioid funds, these companies that are having to pay this money, before they agree to the settlement, they want to see that most of the people that they're going to be paying has agreed to this. Otherwise, they may not agree to it. So it's to our advantage that we go ahead and do this. This is just, and y'all may have run the figures on it too, that would amount to about $6,932 to Lincoln County for 11 years, totaling about $76,262 on that. I don't know the exact, we're collecting monies on about probably 7 or 8 different companies. Some of them have actually already paid all theirs. Some of them are stretched out to 18 years, but and the way these are done is pretty a complicated process. If anybody wants to know, I'll tell you how it's divided up. But basically, counties, the amount that comes to Tennessee, the counties get about 39%. We start off with 15% off the top. Then there is 15 that goes into a dedicated fund that, the general fund of the state. That balance of 70%, some of it's set aside for entities can apply for that, and then the county gets back 15% of that too. So that's how it gets up to the 39%. So if you got any questions on the Kroger settlement, I'll be happy to try to answer those. Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion that we accept the proposal. Commissioner Douglas makes a motion, we accept it. Do I have a second? Commissioner Taylor seconds. Any questions? All in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Our next item, I believe the next three are Ms. Perkins.
Mayor. The first item we have is ZR 2024-2. This modifies and clarifies the verbiage for zoning resolution 3.1 regarding guidelines for new cemeteries. The guidelines for new cemeteries in Lincoln County, that's been in our zoning since its enactment in 2015. There are 7 guidelines, and this changes item E. In your staff reports, you'll see the old wording as well as the new proposed wording highlighted in yellow. Currently, the regulation says cemetery dimensions and location must be recorded with the Register of Deeds. As you may know, that's pretty vague. So we're trying to clarify that, I believe, with this. So the new verbiage would state cemetery dimensions and location must be recorded in the form of a plat with the Register of Deeds prior to any burials within the proposed cemetery. The additional wording protects families by ensuring the exact location of the cemetery on a family property, and also ensures the right to visit their loved ones on the property with a properly recorded cemetery for generations to come. When a cemetery is recorded, it allows the family members for generations to be able to visit their family member. If it's not recorded properly, they may never know where their family member is buried. The first reading on this came before you last month. Public hearing was held earlier this evening with no comments.
Okay. Any questions?
I just have 2 quick questions.
Okay.
Because this is new to me. So do you have to have a permit or have to come to your office at all?
No, they usually will call the Register of Deeds first to see what to do. Then they will call us asking us what to do, and we ask them to do a plat so that it can actually be put in a deed form, so that they know exactly where it is. And that goes on state registries. This is for forever.
Yeah,
so
that was my
everybody
next
will know.
question. So who keeps record of everybody that's buried?
Well,
I never thought of that.
in our zoning, it says that they are supposed to keep it. Whoever opens that cemetery. Now, that's also pretty vague. So we hope the family does. That's the way it's supposed to be done.
Okay.
This is perspective, isn't it?
No, this regulation is already in our zoning, but the yellow, just what I read there in yellow, that was what we were adding just to item E. But the guidelines for new cemeteries has been there since 2015. This is the only change that has ever been.
It wasn't owned by the form of the plat, though, was it?
Right, it wasn't. In the form of the plat, prior to any burials within the proposed cemetery is the new addition. Yes, ma'am.
Is that perspective? That's
I'm
going
sorry.
forward? Is that going forward? Does it apply to all of them?
No, it would go, I guess it would go forward. I don't think we could go retroactive on that, I don't believe.
Tracy, I
Yes,
believe
ma'am.
there's state law out there already that covers all of this.
Well, the state law,
You
I'm
can't
sorry.
sell, you can't buy, the state's gotta know about it, there's already, legislation on this. So why are we adding more ordinances? People, just leave them alone, it's their land. I mean, the state has regulations to cover this.
The state, actually, what we reference in our guidelines, that statute actually only protects existing cemeteries. So there's nothing to protect a new cemetery. So that's what we're trying to do, is protect the new cemetery. Because the way it reads right now is if someone is buried on a property, it is not recorded, there is not record of that cemetery, and say, yes, the family is still around. Well, later on, if they're not, and that land gets sold, there is no way to know where exactly that is, where it's located on that property without this. If this is done, it just simply means there is gonna be a description, legal description, put in a deed that designates that as cemetery. They do not have to pay, property tax on that anymore as well. And it protects families in the future, really.
Because I believe I looked it up today, and like, if somebody has land,
Mhm.
and they're buried on it, okay?
Mhm.
The state's supposed to have a record, they have to let the state know.
Mhm.
And then if they sell that land, the realtor should be investigating it. If somebody buys it and finds out later, it goes back to that owner or the family. And they're breaking the law. So, I mean,
So
there
they're
are laws
breaking-
out there already.
So they're breaking the law if,
They would be breaking the law if, I don't know if you can pull it up on your computer, but I pulled it up today, and there's all kind of regulations. If they wanna plant somebody on their farm, that's fine as long as they let the state know. But we don't have the regulations, like you said, we don't have a deed. There's nothing in the state law says we have to have a deed for that plot. It's just gotta be regulated with the state. The buyer needs to be told about it, and the seller has to inform them. And then they still have to let people come on their lot, other family members, say it's sold. Then the family members want to come see that grave. They have to allow them on the land to see that plot. They
I
can't
agree.
stop them.
If there is no record of that cemetery other than that deed, how is the family gonna find it in 50 years?
Family land, we
What if
have
it's not
lots of
anymore? What if
family-
it's been sold? That's the reasoning, is because not right now, not right now. Later on, it would be an issue.
Are you gonna grandfather all the ones that do it now, that have done it?
I don't know anything
I
about.
think we're getting off the subject a long ways. Let's get back on the subject. I recognize Commissioner Haynes.
I always heard the phrase, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. I think we need less regulations, not more regulations.
That,
I don't like this one at all because it further encumbers the person that's trying to bury their loved one. I'm not for it.
that's fine, I'm just
We
reading.
have a registered deed here. Why don't we ask him to speak?
Okay. Register of Deeds, Randy Delap.
Well, first of all, this body is the one who makes these regulations. The regulations that she's talking about were in this planning and zoning policy that was passed in August of 2015. So these regulations have been in place ever since you passed that zoning resolution. We have seen in the last several years an increase in people, families wanting to have a private cemetery. Since August of 2015, we have on record 7 family cemeteries that have went through the process. 'Cause like Tracy said, most of the time the first phone call comes to our office. We tell them to call planning and zoning because they're the ones that have these regulations and they're the ones that are supposed to enforce them. So the people have called them, they go through the process just like this resolution says, and they've done a plat of the, what they wanted, half acre, whatever, and they recorded that plat in our office as a family cemetery. In that plat, it has the deed reference of their property, and when we record it, it ties back to that deed. And that's the reason that I made the suggestion to change this wording, because if you read this wording as it is, that was passed, it says cemetery dimensions and location must be recorded in the property deed. So, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, if you did exactly what this regulation says, you would still have to get a surveyor to give you the dimensions of what you want to establish as your family cemetery. Then you would have to take that to an attorney, and he would redraw your deed, and he would exclude out that area for the cemetery, and that would be re-recorded in our office. Is that what that means? Yeah. So I just felt like with what had been happening since this was approved, that it'd be better to clarify that and say to do a plat and record it. And I may be wrong, Miss Kate, but that state statute that you're talking about, it references, it's called the Family Burial Grounds Protection Act. And it covers these old cemeteries, and it does give families the right to come and visit and to keep them up. But we see so many deeds that have these old cemeteries on them that there's no mention of that cemetery. And that's what I think we're trying to clarify here, is that from this point forward, that we will have something recorded. We're not trying to put any extra burden on anybody. We're trying to do something that will have that recorded where 100 years from now, it won't be grown up and lost. It will be of record. It will be of record in the property assessor's office, and everybody will know where it is. You know, and that was my suggestion, and I didn't know it was going to be a big problem, but I think looking at it from a land record standpoint, which is what our office does, I think it's a good thing, and it's something that should be considered. You may got any
Okay,
questions?
any other questions?
I just have a comment. There are actually been bodies dug up from excavation in Lincoln County because
They didn't know.
the property did not have any clue
That's right.
somebody was bigger than. To me, this would, of course, the old one, if they did what they're supposed to do and got the dimensions, it just be wouldn't be a physical plat, but you'd know where it was at. Would do the same thing, but and there's tons of cemeteries that are totally grown up and lost.
Mhm.
I have one near my house that you didn't know it was there. Been there for 100 years.
Okay. Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion, one way or the other, ever how y'all see fit. Commissioner. Okay, do I have a second? Commissioner Sanders, second. Any further discussion? All in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no?
No.
Raise your hands if you voted no. Okay, Rose Walter, Gillen, Haynes, and Young. Does that get everybody? Excuse me, Bryant. Mary Ann Tackett.
I have 6 no votes,
Okay,
which means I have 13 in favor and 5
Okay.
absent.
motion passed. Okay,
All right, and file number 2024 R4 is a request to establish A1 zoning. This is to request for a public hearing and vote next month on July 16th. The parcel is 5.66 acres. It's located in the urban growth boundary and is currently unzoned. The owner and the applicant They've requested to establish A1 zoning in order to expand the existing mobile home park that is there. There's an extra 3 acres that's undeveloped there. And so they would like to, if they get this zoning of A1, they would like to apply for a special exception, which is permitted in a mobile home park is permitted as a special exception in A1. They would like to do that and expand the mobile home park to our current standards. So, and we'd like to, we're asking for a public hearing and vote next month
Okay,
on that.
that would occur at 5:30 prior to the July commission meeting. What's the will of the commission on this item?
So be it.
Commissioner Rogers makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Taylor seconds. Any questions? All in favor of call for public hearing, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Ms. Perkins?
File number 2024 R5 is a request to rezone a 2.13 acre portion of tax map 115, parcel number 61 on Ardmore Highway from A1 to C1. The owner and applicant has requested this zoning change for the purpose of establishing a retail business. And there are commercial businesses surrounding it. It is on a state-maintained highway. The Planning Commission gave a favorable recommendation for this rezone on June 6th, and we are requesting a public hearing and vote for next month.
Okay, what's the will of the commission? Commissioner Walker makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Rogers seconds. All in favor of approval, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Anything else?
No, I
Thank you
think
very
that's it.
much.
Thank you.
I think we're ready for our Chamber of Commerce report. Miss Carolyn Denton.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you tonight. Last Friday was our annual Tee Off for Progress fundraiser at Pebble Creek, and we want to say thank you to all of our tournament sponsors, our volunteers, and the 14 teams that came out to play in 95-degree weather that came out to play with us. I brought copies of our latest community guide. I hope everyone got that. Please thumb through it. These are available at no charge with our ad member businesses, also at the Chamber. We have some at the Welcome Centers in Tennessee and Ardmore, and some other places as well. The digital version is also available on our website. The cover and the cover article inside promotes water safety on the Elk River and also the Float in Tennessee program. These are used for new and existing residents with business listing and hard to find numbers inside. Also for recruitment, for tourism, it lists our community events and attractions. And there's information on local and state government, also schools, colleges, and TCAT, as well as other things of interest. Through our affiliation with the Tennessee Chamber, we're now able to offer to our Chamber members the opportunity for health insurance for themselves and their employees. We can provide contact information for more information about the health insurance. Miss Jean's Sandwich Shop and Ice Cream Parlor will be having our June Chamber Mixer in Petersburg. It'll be on June the 27th. We invite you to come out and join us from 4 to 6 o'clock. And the businesses around the square will have extended hours for us as well. Music in the Park continues at Stonebridge Park on the third Thursday through August at 6:30. Coming up this Thursday night will be Midnight Jane on June the 20th. The Men of Fayetteville will be returning on July 18th. And then on August the 15th will be the Fabulous 50 Singers and Mount Olive Men's Chorus. So we hope that you'll join us for that as well. That's my report.
Thank you, Ms. Carolyn. Any questions?
Thank you all.
Thank you. Commissioner Bryant, I believe we're ready for the budget report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Budget Committee Chairman Doug Cunningham conducted a public hearing on the fiscal year 24-25 budget at Lincoln Central Academy, 6:30 PM. All members were present. We did have 2 citizens that spoke at that public hearing. And after the closure of that public hearing, we went forward with our budget committee meeting. Item 1, the mayor had nothing to report. Item 2, Joey Clark, Superintendent of Lincoln County Board of Public Utilities, presented their 24-25 proposed budget, and that budget's attached.
What's the will of the commission on this item?
Move approved.
Commissioner Bryant makes a motion for approval. Commissioner Taylor seconds. Any discussion on the Lincoln County Board of Public Utilities, their budget? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
Item 3, Sheriff Joyce McConnell and Sandy Metcalf, CFO of the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department. A, amended surplus gun list, and that list is attached. We have a motion by Commissioner Ewan, seconded by Commissioner Hambrick, passed unanimously to recommend accepting the attached amended surplus gun list.
Okay. What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Commissioner Mitchell seconds. All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
B, next item is a BPVP grant. It's a 50-50 match, and that is an information item only. C, Sheriff's proposed budget request for 24-25 mattresses and bulletproof vest. We had a motion by Commissioner Ewan, seconded by Commissioner Sanders, and passed 7 yes, 1 no, to recommend approving the adding of a one-time cost of $20,000 for bulletproof vest to the sheriff's budget 2024-25, with any balances remaining from the $20,000 go to match the BVP grant. And that was an oversight in, just a little explanation, the clothing, it was considered clothing in the budget, and it was actually for bulletproof vest.
That's right.
I move we approve.
Okay, Commissioner Bryant makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Ewan seconds. Any questions on this item? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Okay, any others? Commissioner Taylor votes no. So I believe that'd be 18 ayes, 1 no. Okay, next item, Commissioner Bryant.
Commissioner, we had another motion by Commissioner Spray, seconded by Commissioner Cunningham, to recommend approval of a one-time cost of $12,400 for mattresses for the jail. This motion failed by a vote of 6 no, 2 yes.
What's the will of the commission on this item?
Move we approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, move we approve purchasing those mattresses. Okay, do I have a second? Commissioner Spray, do you say second? Got a properly second by Commissioner Spray. Any discussion on this item?
So the motion is not to concur?
No, this motion is to purchase the mattresses as proposed by the Sheriff's Department.
But the
Is
motion-
that correct, Mr. Cunningham?
That is correct, sir.
Okay,
But the motion will be not to concur with the budget committee's.
that's exactly right.
Recommendation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no?
No.
Let's have a roll call vote. A yes vote will be voting to purchase the mattresses. A no vote will be not to purchase the mattresses.
Rose Walter,
Yes.
Douglas,
Yes.
Bryant,
No.
Young,
Yes.
Haynes,
No.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Taylor,
No.
Nix,
Yes.
Eldridge,
Yes.
Spray,
Yes.
Tackett,
Both.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Ewan,
No.
Ashley,
No.
Rogers,
Yes.
Caldwell,
No.
Walker,
No.
Sanders, Coley.
No.
I have 9 yes, 10 no, 5 absent.
Okay. There's no recommendation on that, so we move to the next item.
Okay. Item 6A, this is the finance director's report. Motion, we had 101 general fund budget amendments, and they're attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Spray, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 101 general fund budget amendments.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Taylor, Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. To have second.
Second.
Commissioner Bryant seconds. Any discussion? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
B, 116 solid waste fund budget amendments. They're attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Ewan, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 116 solid waste fund budget amendment.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Commissioner Ewan seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
C, 122 Sheriff Drug Fund Budget Amendment. Attached, we had a motion by Commissioner Hambrick, seconded by Commissioner Caldwell, passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 122 Sheriff Drug Fund Budget Amendment.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Ewan seconds. Any questions, comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
D, 131 Highway Fund Budget Amendment. It's attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Bryant, seconded by Commissioner Taylor, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 131 Highway Fund Budget Amendment.
What's the will of the commission on this item?
Move.
Commissioner Spray makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Taylor seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
E, 141 General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendments, and they're attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Caldwell, passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 141 General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendments.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Nick seconds. Any questions, comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
F, 146 Extended School Program Fund Budget Amendments, and they're attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Spray, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 146 Extended School Program Fund Budget Amendments.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Spray makes a motion for approval. Commissioner Taylor seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
E, 151 Debt Service Fund Budget Amendments, and they're attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Spray, seconded by Commissioner Taylor, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 151 Debt Service Fund Budget Amendments.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Douglas makes a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
Item H, 171 General Capital Projects Fund Budget Amendment, and they're attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Sanders, seconded by Commissioner Taylor, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the 171 General Capital Program Fund Budget Amendment.
What's the will of the commission on this item?
Move and concur.
Commissioner Bryant makes a motion for approval. I have a second. Commissioner Coley seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
Aye. Financials, and they're enclosed. We had a motion by Commissioner Bryant, seconded by Commissioner Spray, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the enclosed financials.
I would entertain a motion on the approval of the financials that are contained herein. Commissioner Coley makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Walker seconds. Any questions? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
J, we have a fiscal year 24-25 final budget improvement, and that is enclosed. And if you'd allow a little procedural thing here,
Let's get with it.
let's get with it. I wrote it down.
Okay.
This may apply to a few people, and I think last year we just simply maybe done a show of hands, but I could have a perceived conflict in the matter about to be voted. However, I declare that my vote and answer only to my conscience and the constituents I represent. And I would like for that to be enforced for the next 3 items.
Okay. Any other declarations of a possible conflict of interest? Okay. Do y'all? Okay. You can just declare it, state commissioner name, and that you may have a conflict of interest on the next 3 items. Is everybody on the next 3 items? Okay. Commissioner Rose-Walter, state.
I declare that I may have a conflict of interest on the next 3.
Okay. Next.
Commissioner Dixon, I may have a conflict with the next 3 items.
Commissioner Spray.
I may have a conflict in the next 3 items.
Okay. Commissioner Young.
I may have a conflict on the next 3 items.
Okay. Commissioner Douglas.
I may have a conflict on the next 3 items.
Okay. If you have a direct, Commissioner Haynes.
I may have a conflict in the next 3 items.
Okay. Here is basically, on voting on the budget on this, if you or your spouse could benefit from it when we vote on individual items, if we get to individual items, you cannot vote. But if it's the whole budget, you can vote. Everybody understand that? Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Bryant.
All right. Appropriations resolution, it is attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Bryant, seconded by Commissioner Sanders, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the attached resolutions making appropriations for various funds, departments, institutions, offices, and agencies of Lincoln County, Tennessee for the year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30, 2025.
Okay.
I move we concur.
Commissioner Bryant makes a motion for approval on the appropriations resolution of this coming year's budget. Do I have a second? Commissioner Sanders seconds. Any questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor of passing this, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant.
2, tax levy resolution. It's also attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Spray, seconded by Commissioner Sanders, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the attached resolution setting the tax levy in Lincoln County, Tennessee for the year beginning July 1, 2024.
Okay. And that rate is $1.8998, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Commissioner Haynes seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
Item 3, nonprofit appropriation resolution. They're attached. We had a motion by Commissioner Ewan, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Upon discussion, Commissioner Ewan made an amendment to give the Chamber of Commerce an additional $2,500 to their appropriation for a total of $15,000, seconded by Commissioner Cunningham and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the $15,000 to the Chamber of Commerce nonprofit appropriation for 24-25. We then had a motion by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Sanders, and passed to recommend approval of the attached amended resolution making appropriations for nonprofit organizations of Lincoln County for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024.
Okay. I would entertain a motion on the amendment that was added at the budget meeting to increase the chamber's appropriation $2,500 to the $15,000. Commissioner Mitchell makes the motion. Do I have a second? Commissioner Ewan seconds. Any questions on this? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Now, with that amendment to that, I would entertain a motion for the appropriations of the nonprofit organizations with that amendment in there as far as the chamber's amount that they will be receiving. Commissioner Cunningham makes the motion. Commissioner Taylor seconds. Any questions, comments? All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Commissioner Bryant?
Next item is item number 5. Chairman Cunningham, we had some talk about the website. We also had some talk about items being brought up that were not on the agenda. And that's all we have, Mr. Chairman.
Good job. Thank you very much. Thank you, Budget Committee, and thank you for the commission. I think this is smooth as it's gone in a long time, and I sure appreciate it too. Let's see, I believe we're ready for our notary publics, Madam Clerk.
Dwayne Fisher by Commissioner Cunningham, Latasha Akins by Commissioner Rolls-Walter, Emily Hunter by Commissioner Spray, Brooke Rozelle by Commissioner Sanders, Rachel Kohler, Olivia Boyles by Commissioner Coley, Lana K. Bradford by Commissioner Cunningham.
Okay. Any additions? Would entertain a motion, we approve those. Commissioner Mitchell makes that motion. Do I have a second from Commissioner Young? All in favor of approval, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. I believe we're ready for new business, and I recognize Commissioner and Budget Director Jason Nix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of house cleaning items for the 23-24 budget. These are our last budget amendments, and we had to do some cleanup on this year's budget, so as we're winding down the year. So I've got 3 for you. One is on the General 101 Fund budget amendment, and it's the amount of $146,187, and that's all I have on the 101.
Okay, what's the will of the commission on the 101 adjustments? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Commissioner Spray seconds. Any questions or comments on any of those? All in favor of approval, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved.
The next one I have is on the 116, the solid waste fund, and it's for $18,000, and it's just to clean up some revision on the budget estimates.
Okay, what's the will on the solid waste budget amendment? Commissioner Taylor makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Second. Commissioner Mitchell seconds. Any questions on those? All in favor of approval, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved.
And lastly, I have is for the 141, the general purpose school fund budget amendments. The first one is for $125,100, and it's the final year budget estimates for payroll and other items. And the next one is for $9,550, and that's a budget revision number 1 to the state summer learning camps for the budget and this year's budget as well. These, just to be clear, these will go in front of the school board at next week's school board meeting. So
Okay. Any reason not to take these together?
you can take them together, yes.
Okay.
They're just all 141.
Okay. What's the will of the commission on these items? Mr. Spray makes a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Taylor seconds. All in favor of approval, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Nix. The floor is now for any other new business that's worthy of coming before us.
Move adjourned.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Commissioner Rogers seconds. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Any opposed, no. We're adjourned.